going on, replay viewers? People who are watching live ain't come in yet, so I'm saying what's up to y'all. But as y'all checking in, as everybody checks in, we give a minute for people to start checking in, at least a few seconds for people to start checking in. Then we get into our proceedings this afternoon. Hope everybody's having a great start to your week, a great Monday. As you shout yourselves out, check yourselves in. As you check yourselves in and shout yourselves out. As you are coming in, y'all know what this is. This is Dre All Day. Welcome. Hope everybody's had a great Monday. Thus far, this is Thanksgiving week. It feels different this year. I don't know. It feels different to me this year, this Thanksgiving week. It felt a little bit different when I was in school. Maybe it's different because I ain't in school no more. But y'all check in. Mozart Gates, he got it right. Jeff Olden, I'm great. How you doing? Shout out to everybody who is checking in. Shout yourselves out in the comment section. We're going to get started in like 30 seconds. I don't want to waste too much time. I don't want to take too much time. We ain't wasting no time, but I don't want to take too much time before we get into the material. Hope everybody's having a great Monday thus far, getting ready for a great Thanksgiving. Whether you're eating a regular meal, you're going to a feast, you're going to a restaurant, you're cooking, you're giving out free meals, you're giving out turkeys, whatever you're doing, let's get ready for this conversation that we're about to have right here. So again, I'm gonna give everybody like 10 seconds, then we're gonna get right into this. I'm gonna take one sip of this water and then we get right into it. As you are coming in, again, you can shout yourselves out in the comments section. Periscope, anybody on Periscope, shout yourself out. If you are on Facebook, shout yourself out. And if you are on Instagram, you can shout yourselves out. Richie Rich was good. As y'all are checking in again, my name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day. I'm a former 9-year professional athlete. I'm the author now of 27 books, including this book right here called Work on Your Game. And also this book called The Mirror of Motivation. I'm going to tell you how to get this one right here for free at the end of this presentation. What I do nowadays, I teach this philosophy that I created called Work on Your Game. It's about taking the tools you need to succeed and get to the top 1% in the sports world. And I teach how those same tools apply at work and how they apply in life. And we do 3 specific things. We help you develop your game, show your game off, and then get the ROI for your game. In other words, to get paid for your game or whatever it is that you want based on the skills that you bring to the table. Coffee the Great was good. Again, as y'all checking in, you can keep shouting yourselves out. I'm going to answer all questions at the end if anybody has any. Ricky Peralta said, you stay grinding. That's a fact. You got that right, Ricky. Where you checking in from, Ricky? Over on Facebook. So the topic here today is the magic mix. I talked about recently the greatness equation, where you got to have the combination of talent and you got to be willing to put in the work. You need both in order to become great at what you do. You can be good and okay maybe if you're not that talented, but you work hard, or you don't really work hard, but you're very talented. You're probably mediocre. But today I'm talking about the magic mix of where you should even focus your energy. And that magic mix, as you can see in the title, is the mix of can do plus want to. LBC, is that Long Beach? Shout out to Long Beach if that's where you're talking about LBC. But today, what I'm going to explain is why the magic pill of succeeding need a combination of both of these. All right, so there's several combinations, and this one should be similar. What you're going to hear today, similar to what I talked about when I talked about the greatness equation. Can your ability to do something and then your willingness to actually do it. And you need both of these. Unfortunately, too many people come to the party and only one or the other, but we're going to get clear on both today. Number one, and what I'm going to get clear on is how you know. All right, this is not repeating the same topic, but it's how do you know you can do something and you want to do something. I'm going to lay it out so that you're clear if you're doing something that you actually can do and you want to do. Number one, what's the sign that you can do something? The sign that you can do something, at least you know you are starting to get to the neighborhood when you offer your abilities for sale and somebody's buying. When you offer your ability for sale and somebody's willing to buy, somebody's willing to pay you for it, that's a sign that you can do it. That's a sign that it's marketable. That means you can put it out there and somebody's like, yo, I want that. I'm willing to give something in order to get it. That's a sign that you can do. Okay, consumers look at your work and then they look at the work of others or whatever they think is comparable to you, and you're winning and they're choosing you, even though they could choose this. There's 1,000 books in the bookstore, but somebody decides to buy this one, or a bunch of people say, hey, you can get my book for free, but you go get this one. That is a consumer choosing you. They're saying, all right, this person has something of value that I actually want, and even though I have multiple options, I'm going to take that one. That is a sign that you are on the right track, that you are in the right place when people are choosing you, because the thing is, people will ask you for help. Here's another way you can know. When people are asking you for help, they're coming to you and saying, hey, can you give me some advice on this? Can you take a look at this? Do you have some information about this? They're asking you because something about you has made your abilities obvious. All right, something that you've done. Maybe you did it on purpose. Maybe you did it by accident. But something that you put out there makes people know that you're the person that can help them, the person they should look to as an example in a particular area, because you have proven you know what you're talking about, you know what you're doing. Maybe you have some success in that area. Maybe you've helped other people. Your name just been buzzing. Maybe somebody else dropped your name. It's something that you did makes people know that you're a go-to person in a particular area. And then on top of that, when they have options, they choose you. That is one sign of knowing. These are a couple signs. I actually gave you like 3 or 4 there. 3 or 4 signs of knowing that you're in the right place, because you want it to be something that you know you can do, but also the consumers have to know. All right, because we're talking here, I want everybody to understand, we're talking about business here. So when we talk business, business is the exchange of resources between people. So it can't just be you believing that you're the greatest, but nobody else thinks it, then you probably don't have a marketable opportunity there. If you believe you're great, and then you put yourself out there, and then the consumers start to decide that you're great, they start agreeing with you, then you like, all right, now I might have something here. I can work with this. But the consumers have to be choosing you as well as you choosing yourself. Now you start by choosing yourself. You put yourself out there because you believe it. You show your game, you perform. Then the consumers will start to say, okay, this person's actually pretty good. I believe them. Let me see what else they got. And then they start choosing you. Number 2. So that was the signs that you can do something. Now here's the other half of that, the equation, is that you got to have the want to, because there are people who are good at stuff, they just don't want to do it. Have you ever known anybody who's like, they're pretty good at something and the audience wants it from them and people are asking for it, but they just not that interested in it. They're just not that excited. And we've all either been there at some points in our lives or we have seen it from other people. And the thing is, it's not necessarily wrong if people want something from you and you don't want to do it. Maybe you're just not interested. All right. Some people you might have an athlete who's playing baseball and football in high school. Then they go to college and they got a scholarship offer for both sports. And they just say, you know, I don't want to play football no more. I'm going to just play baseball. Or I don't want to play hockey anymore. I'm going to play basketball. Whatever it is. Sometimes in life, you don't want to do something even though people want it from you. And that's okay. You don't have to do everything that people want from you, because your life is your life, it's not theirs. So now this other half of the equation is the signs that you want to. Here's the clear sign. You are consistently making investments into your own personal improvement in that particular area. You know you want to play football when you are consistently making investments in improving in football. You know you want to play basketball when you are making the investments to get better at basketball, meaning you're going to the park, you're working on your game, you're hiring your trainer, you're lifting weights, you're staying in shape, you're doing what you have to do. You know that you want to do really well in school when you're making the investments in studying and joining the study group and going to the tutoring and going to the office hours of your professors to make sure you got the information right. You know you want to do something when you are making your own voluntary investments and improvement in that particular area. That's what it means, want to. What are you doing that is not required of you that shows you are serious about doing that thing? That's it right there. And say again, what are you doing that is not required of you that shows you are serious about doing that thing? Anybody can be, if you're on a basketball team and the coach says we got practice every day at 3 o'clock, you'll probably show up to practice every day at 3 o'clock. But here's the question. How often are you working on your game outside of what the coach is making you do? How often are you lifting weights outside of the coach making you lift weights? How often are you doing conditioning and doing sprints to get in shape outside of what the coach is telling you to do, or just working on your handle outside of what somebody's forcing you to do it? If you're not taking time on your own time, the most important investment you have, and putting it into getting better in a particular area, I'm going to tell you honestly right now, you probably are not that serious about it. When you're serious about something, you put the time in. You find the time. You make the time. You create the time, whatever you want to call it. You figure out how to put time into something when you're serious about it. If you're not taking your own time to go, if you want to be a photographer, you should be going to Amazon and getting some books on photography. You should be watching YouTube channels, subscribing to people who talk about photography. You should be following photographers on Instagram, getting the information from people who are out there in that game doing that thing. This is what you do when you're serious about something. When I wanted to play ball and I wasn't having any success in my early teen years, I was still putting the investment in. I was still going to the park and working on my game. I was still trying to figure out, well, how can I get better at shooting? How can I jump higher so I can dunk? How can I work on my dribbling? I was looking for ways to get better, even though I didn't have any guidance and there was nowhere for me to find information. But I kept putting the time in, and that was proof to me, looking back on it, that I was serious about doing that because I was willing to do the work. Now, just because you're willing to do the work does not mean you're going to succeed, but you must be willing to do the work in order to succeed. Everybody follow what I said there. So just because you work hard at something, that does not guarantee that you are going to get success. But you must work hard in order to make yourself eligible for the success. And a lot of people have the skill, but they just don't want to do it. They don't want to do the work. And I don't mean just one time. I don't mean you do the work one time, or you work hard when you're in a crisis, or because somebody told you to do it, or even because I said to do it. You do the work on your own volition. What that means is nobody told you to do it. Nobody shamed you into doing it. You didn't do it because you're embarrassed. You didn't do it because you saw somebody else doing it. You did it because you wanted to. In life, episode 609 of the Work on Your Game Masterclass, 5 forms of investment: time, money, attention, energy, focus. Anything that you get good at in life, you got to put all 5 in. So look at the thing that you want to be good in, or that you want people to take you as they want to take you seriously in, and ask yourself, how often am I putting in these 5 forms of investment? Again, time, money, attention, energy, and focus. And you don't have to have, the only one of those that is tangible is money. You don't have to have a lot of money. Whatever money you got, what are you putting it into? Are you putting your $10 into going to the movies? Or are you putting your $10 into, I don't know, getting somebody's $2 program that can help you get in better shape because you're trying to play ball? Or somebody's book on Kindle? What are you doing with the, whatever you have, where are you allocating your investments? You might not have a lot of time, but what are you doing with the little bit of time you got? Maybe you don't have a lot of energy because you got to work all day and you're in school and you got kids, but the little bit of energy you have left, what are you putting it towards? Maybe you don't have a ton of attention because you got all this other stuff going on, but the attention that you can put aside for something that matters to you, how much of it is going towards what you claim to be serious about in your life? This is the want to side of things. And a lot of people, again, have opportunities and things they could do and ideas and all these stuff, but they don't want to do it. They don't want to do the work. And if you want to know if somebody's serious about something, don't listen to what they say. Don't read their Instagram posts. Don't pay attention to their status updates. Look at their feet and see what they're doing. Where are they putting their time, money, attention, energy, and focus? I heard this business coach give this example. He said he said his life was getting out of control because he was running his businesses and he had a family, he had a wife, he had kids, he had all this stuff going on. So he hired a business coach. He's a business coach, but he hired a business coach, coaching the coaches, to help him get his life in order and get his business in order, right? So while this guy is talking to his business coach, the business coach said to the man, yo, tell me what's the most important thing in your life right now? Of all the stuff you got going on, what's the most important thing? And the guy replied to the coach, he said, well, that's easy. My wife and my kids are the most important thing in my life. And the business coach said to him, okay, if that's true, go grab your calendar and then grab your checkbook. And I want to look at your calendar for the last 6 months, and I'm going to look at your checkbook for the last 6 months, and we're going to see if the time you've been spending and the money you've been spending is reflective of your kids and your wife being the most important thing in your life. And as the guy tells the story, he says, all right, as soon as he said that, I felt like shit because I knew I was about to get exposed because my calendar and my checkbook did not reflect what my words were saying. And this is the point that I'm making to y'all. Anybody can talk about what they're serious about and what they claim they want to do and what they say they're about. When you're serious about something, you ain't got to announce it to anybody because people can see it. People can see, all right, this person is always at the park practicing. This person's always in the library reading. This person's always watching these videos about this particular subject and learning and getting the information. Or this person's always writing because they're trying to get their writing game up. Or this person's always spending time with their kids because they want to build that relationship. When you're serious about something, the people who see you on a consistent basis, they can see it in your actions. You don't have to tell them what you're about. They know. They're like, all right, I know dude is about that because that's where he's always at. He's always doing that. One of my coaches when I was growing up in the neighborhood, one time he was talking to one of the players who was like my age. And the coach said to him, yo, do you be smoking weed? That's what he asked him. Do you smoke weed? And the player, and this is way before, it became more acceptable to smoke weed. This is when smoking weed can get you arrested. I mean, it can still get you arrested, but y'all know what I mean. This is like 20 years ago. And the player was like, no, I don't be smoking weed. Why are you even asking me that question? And the coach said, because when I drive around the neighborhood, you be standing on the corner with a bunch of dudes that smoke weed. And the player was like, well, coach, just because you see me standing with them doesn't mean I'm smoking weed. And the coach said, okay, so if you hung around a bunch of dudes who's known for dealing drugs, what are people going to say about you? And the player said, well, they're going to think I'm a drug dealer. And then the coach said, if you hang around a bunch of dudes that is known for being gay, this is what the coach said. And so he said, you hang around a bunch of dudes known for being gay, and he didn't say it that way. He said it in a more graphic way. He said, what would people say about you? The player was like, well, they would think I was gay. He said, okay, so if you're hanging around a bunch of dudes who are known for smoking weed all day, and you standing there with them, What is everybody going to think about you? And it's the same thing I'm saying with y'all. That's also a law of association that I'm dropping in there. Look at your actions. And if somebody else tells you they're about something, you don't have to believe what they say. Just look at their actions. Look at their calendar. You might not see their calendar, but look where you see them at. Look where you see them investing their time. Are they putting the time into the thing that they're talking about? Yes or no? And it will be clear. And understand something, that without making these investments on a consistent basis, all right, you're not going to get the outcome, because your ability to do something will suffer if you're not consistently putting the efforts in. Anyone who spends time around you shouldn't have to ask you what you're about. It should be obvious what you're about. All right. If not, if no one is helping you or informing you into doing what you want to do, you don't have any information, you don't have any help, you don't have an in, you don't have a foot in the door, understand you must be willing and able to supply all the effort to go get all the information on your own. This is the game that you signed up for. Okay? Sometimes you got to let people know, and this is what I do sometimes, let people know that you got to have 100% of the down payment to become great at what you do. And the 100% of the down payment is you must be able to do it, and the consumer understands that, and you got to be willing to do the work. If you're short on either one of these, you're going to come up short, period. And here's point number 3. The magic only happens when you choose something in which you have both at the same time. That means you have the ability, the consumer wants it from you, and you are willing to do the work. When you find a mix of both at the same time, that's when you have something. You can do it, and you want to do it. You cannot will your way to success in something if you do not have the tools. You can't build a big building with no tools. All right? You need a construction team. You need some cement. You need some plywood. You need some nails. You need some bricks and mortar. You need all of that in order to build the building. You could want to build the building, but if you ain't got those tools, it's probably not going to happen. And if you have all the tools, but you don't really want to build the building, it's probably not going to happen either. So you need both. And when I make it tangible like that, it seems obvious, but it's the same thing with what's going on in our minds. And understand that those who have the tone of wanting to do something, but you don't really have the skill, is not a death sentence to your ambitions. What you need to do is figure out where and who you are and apply that same want to something that you can do in the present. So if you have a strong desire to do things, you're willing to do work, that's better than if you're willing to do work, but you haven't found your talent yet. That doesn't mean you're dead. All right, doesn't mean you can't do anything. Now, if you have a lot of talent, but you're not willing to work hard, you're probably going to end up an underachiever in life. But people who are willing to do the work, there's hope for you, or you have opportunity. Maybe you just haven't found the right place to apply that effort yet. When you find the right spot, then things are going to start popping off for you. So all that being said, let me recap these points. I'm going to tell you how to get this book for free. Then I'm going to recap the points, then I'm going to answer questions. This book right here, Mirror of Motivation, Self-Guide to Self-Discipline. You can get this book by going to mirrorofmotivation.com. The book is already paid for. All you do is cover a small shipping charge, and I'll ship this to you anywhere in the world. Mirrorofmotivation.com is where you get this book. Why you want it? You have goals. You already answered that question. Are you willing to work hard? You've answered that. Here's the question you have not asked and you haven't answered. Who do I need to be? What kind of energy do I need to have? What does my posture need to be? How do I need to see myself when I look in the mirror? The answers to those questions, this book is going to give you the framework for answering that question yourself, because I can't tell you who you need to be. You had to tell yourself. That's why I call the book The Mirror of Motivation. Get this by going to mirrorofmotivation.com. You take care of a small shipping charge. I'll ship it to you worldwide, anywhere you live. Mirrorofmotivation.com. The points that I gave you here today, the magic mix of can do and want to. Number 1, signs that you can is that your skills are available and the consumer is asking for it, meaning they are willing to pay for it. Number 2, signs that you want to. You are consistently making investments into your own improvement on your own volition, not because somebody told you to, but because you wanted to. Point number 3, magic happens only when you choose something in which you can do it and you want to do it at the same time, not one or the other. And number 4, if you have the tone of you want to do things, but you haven't found your talent yet, there is hope for you. So you just need to find the right place. If you have talent, but you don't really want to do the work, you're probably going to be a mediocrity and an underachiever in life, what many people will call a failure, simply because you do not fulfill your potential. So you're better off having a whole lot of desire and no skill than having a whole lot of skill and no desire. All that said, let me address questions if there are any in the comments section. I don't know if I had any. Let's see. Shout out to people who got their overseas basketball blueprint. I recorded some new content for that today, so that'll be coming. I mean, it was already coming out consistently, but we got more. It's not done yet. Coffee the Great, what's going on? Anthony Leon, what's up? Carriera 6. It's good. All right, so I think I addressed everything. Ricky over here said Dre had the AI crossover. That's a fact. Brandon, Chris, yes, you are correct. Actions speak louder than words. You got to look at people's actions, not just look at their words. So shout out to everybody on Facebook. Facebook gets a lot of people watch these on replay, I guess, most of the time. So everybody, mirrorofmotivation.com is where you get your free copy of this book. You just covered the shipping. I've already paid for the book. We charge this. You could buy this book for, I guess, $20 on Amazon. I think it's what we're charging for right now. You get it for free at mirrorofmotivation.com. Mirrorofmotivation.com. Book's paid for. You just cover the shipping. I'm gonna do another live tomorrow. I don't know what I'm gonna talk about. I decide these moment by moment. Everybody have a great Monday, Thanksgiving week. Work on your game. Dre all day.